and boom goes the dynamite.
Welcome back to the only live lacrosse talk show that airs every Monday through Friday. This is the Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis. Good morning to everyone on the East Coast and on the West. To everyone on the West Coast and on the East Coast, good afternoon. It's time for lunch. On today's episode of Daily Dive, our top story will be PLL, will be location-based after 2023. My reaction and what it means for the future of lacrosse. Big guest by Fanatics today will be the Toronto Rock's own Latrell Harris. We'll ask him about the Rock and the Thunderbirds, among other things, this weekend. And our last brew by Big Red's Coffee Company code Daily Dive will be why Buffalo, New York deserves the NLL Cup. I know it sounds taboo. With that, let's get into our top story, which is presented by the Daily Dive store. When you go to Daily Dive Lax on social media and click the link tree in our bio, it's right there with the Our Store tab. Get everything with this logo on it. It's the best in lacrosse merchandise. You don't want to miss it. There's new shirts being added that I've designed and I think personally look absolutely incredible. It's Daily Dive Store. It's the best way to support the show as we try to grow the game. And our top story is that the PLL, according to Sportico, will be location-based after 2023, with locations expected to be announced at the end of this year. It's good for them because I do believe after 5 years of being established as a league and being just a tour-based model, I'm sure the PLL has stacked up a bunch of money in order to get to this point. Now, there is talk about whether or not these teams will become singly owned. We know that Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner, and Joe Tsai, the Brooklyn Nets owner, are among the people involved in this whole thing. But you have to wonder if the PLL is going to keep that ownership of Paul Rabel and Jesus Christ and then everyone else, or is it going to be, singly owned? There's a long ways to go, though, but I'm sure they saved money to this point, not using it all on travel. It was only a matter of time before this happened. You couldn't do the tour-based model forever. I personally didn't mind it, but as far as this is concerned with NLL players, NLL's going to have to start forking over some money, I'd say, because it almost seems like in crucial parts of the season, I believe PLL has started its season finally, and it seems like that if this is location-based, players are not going to, let's say the Cannons who could go to Boston or that area, because that's where they came from in the MLL. You have to wonder if a team, let's say Dane Smith, I know he doesn't play for the Cannons, but let's say Dane Smith was on the Cannons. That would keep him around the Buffalo area, if you will. If a team is in California, that's where Dane Smith's team is. Is he going to play for the Bandits or is he going to play for California? That's an interesting thing to think about for the PLL moving forward. I wonder if we're going to see expansion, and if so, how much teams. We know they started off with 6 teams and have slowly but surely built to 8 teams, which shows you how much money they're actually making at this point, or if he's just Paul Rabel just putting it back in his back pocket at this point. And I do wonder if we're only going to see lacrosse hotbeds, like the Northeast area with Albany and all that stuff, or we're like in Canada, or are we going to see more down south? Because to be fair, ain't much lacrosse down here. The closest game for me in Savannah, Georgia, I got to drive 4 hours to it. Got a flat tire on the way back. Wasn't too happy about that. Not that I go to a PLL game, but I might. It might be something to consider. And also, the Midwest, there's stuff over there. What about Seattle? That's a great location no one cares about. So it's going to be a city, state, or region, according to sources, for each of its 8 teams. And they're titling it, wait for it, drum roll please, Project Next. I mean, let's be real. What this means for lacrosse, the future of box lacrosse, you have to think that ESPN is kind of behind this as well, because I'm sure they've been in Paul Rabel's ear about this. Like I said, you couldn't keep the tour-based model forever. And I'm scared for the NLL because every single time you read something on the NLL website, they're like, it seems like they're terrified. Like they'll say something like, this is part of the NLL. And then they'll always add this at the end. The world's most successful professional lacrosse league. But shut up. Like, are you scared of it? Or I don't know what's going on here. So I know, and I don't like this because I know personally, I know what fans like. It seems like I do. Like MLB got faster, and all of a sudden people love it even more. Watching the PLL, I don't know if it draws fans immediately. I still see lacrosse jokes on some of these things. The NLL is fantastic, so I wonder how much of this location-based thing takes away from the National Lacrosse League. I hope it doesn't, but as long as PLL is daddy over there at ESPN, we're stuck on ESPN. I don't know. I hope it works out. It was only a matter of time. Project Next. Let's just hope that this works out for the better of the game and not just for one league. When I come back, may the fourth be with everyone, by the way, for all those that observe the force. I had to put that in there. When I come back, we're going to talk to Toronto Rock's own Latrell Harris. They've got a big game this weekend against the Thunderbirds. We'll talk to him about that and many more things. This is Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. It's our big guest presented by Fanatics. It is Toronto Rock's own Latrell Harris. Welcome, Latrell, to the show. I saw you bobbing your head to the music, man. Welcome.
Hey, how are we doing? Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. It means everything to me as we try to grow this game. You're the second Rock player we've had on. We had Nick Rose a few weeks ago now. But now we got you. I'm excited for this moment.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so just to pump this guy up a little bit. 30 points. Career high 30 points, may I add, this season. 108 loose balls, 24 calls, turnovers, 10 blocked shots. Not bad for transitioning defense, I'd say. Might win transition player of the year. I don't know. And you're only 25 years old, and I keep saying I'm a year older than the guys I've interviewed, and you're way better than I am at what you do than what I do. So great season for you, sir. I just wanted to say that.
Hey, thank you very much. And also, at your job, you're way better than I am, so it goes both ways. So don't worry about it.
I'll take the moral victory there. So I do have to ask you, Latrell, how do the Rock feel about the way they ended their regular season? Like, what are the team vibes? Because we know that you guys have been at the top of the East for a while, and of course the loss of the Bandits late. But how are you guys feeling going into the playoffs?
Yeah, we're feeling ready and confident. Our team, a core group of our team has been playing with each other for a while. So, it's time for us to get over that next step, which is obviously making it past first and second round playoffs. The last game against Buffalo, our last regular season game, obviously it would have been huge to win because then you clinch the second round playoffs starting at home. But, now we just, if we make it past the first round, we just head down the street for the first game, and you always got to grab the first one. Grab the first one, things are looking good in your favor. So the boys are looking. We're pretty hyped up. We're pumped up. We're ready to do this thing.
One game for the season. Single elimination is so fun to think about. I'm sure you guys are pumped, like you said. How how important do you believe, as this playoffs does begin, how important is it to you? I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, so you might be biased a little bit, but how important is the defense for you guys' whole team success?
Defense wins championships, right?
That's
That's a
right.
thing that's in sports. So, if our defenses are in our game, that means, Rose is on his game. And then obviously for all guys, when your goalie and defense is playing good, I think it's like an extra energy boost for you guys to go and put that ball in the back of the net, and then come to the bench and we celebrate. So, our defense has to be on, especially in playoffs now because, it's a whole different season. Teams play different, all that edginess and, competitiveness is that much higher. So as long as our defense is on, I know our all will be on and we'll be all right.
Are the Rock the best defensive unit in the NLL?
I might be a little biased here, but I think so. I don't know. Maybe we go to the numbers and look at the numbers if people want to go it that way. But I'm gonna say we're definitely top two and we're not two.
I love the confidence. I had to play with you on that one there. So you got this single elimination game, no big deal against Halifax, and you guys 1-1 against Halifax this season. Did win the home game. Is it 1-1 or 2-1? Oh, I forgot which one that is, but whatever it is, you won the home game.
Yep.
And you guys, like I said, playing the Thunderbirds in Toronto. Give me a sneak peek. What has to go right for you guys to win this game? They got hot.
Yeah, they did. So we did go 1-1. We both won a game in both of our home barns. Things that we're gonna have to do is just play fast and physical. Be decisive. Don't think too much. Just play lacrosse. Be an athlete. The simple things, the little things. The little things are gonna help us. You can't think about the big picture. Try to do too much. But when you do the little things right, usually things, positive happen. So just doing little things right.
How much easier is it to be in Toronto than it is to be in a place like Buffalo or even Halifax, knowing that you have the fans on your side? How important is that to keep your guys' focus on?
Right. Well, so we are the Toronto Rock, but we do play out of Hamilton, just to clarify. And Hamilton has been absolutely incredible. Our fans have been absolutely incredible. We had a record-breaking attendance this year, so everything is just getting better and better. So it's just on the boys to make everything come true, right, for the fans. So as long as the fans are there cheering, being loud, engaged in the game, all that works its way down to the floor and it helps us out. So.
Latrell, I got one more question. I have to ask it. We know how much the Rock love playing the Bandits.
Yeah.
If you guys do get past your game and they get past theirs, how much does it mean to you guys to get past that team, knowing what's at stake this season for both you guys' franchises?
It means everything because they knocked us out last year for us to go to the finals. And obviously that stuff doesn't get forgotten about. So if we have the opportunity, to meet them in the second round playoffs again, and maybe it's our turn to do that, it sounds pretty good to us. But right now we're not looking past Halifax. We got to get that game knocked down. It's just tomorrow at 7:30, and just got to play a full 60. Good things will happen, and then from there we'll move on. But we're definitely not looking past this Friday game right now.
That's a good point. Little things. I love the mindset. I can tell you guys are excited, but like I said, little things. Stay focused. You guys will be fine. I'll be honest. Watching you guys, The Rock have been there. When you guys are on it, it's an impressive thing to watch. I love watching the NLL, and thank you for coming on this show. It means the world to me. I'm sure the world to the fans out there as well.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's nice. It's nice to talk about some lacrosse sometimes.
That's right. And best of luck tomorrow, man.
Hey, thank you very much. I'll take it with me.
Go Rock.
Hey, go Rock, go, baby.
Go Rock. That's right. Latrell Harris, I have to admit, that was one of my favorite guests we've had on the show so far. Like, he brought the energy early, and I love that part of that. And like you said, the little things. It is hard. And I keep saying some of these guys work their jobs during the week. And I keep telling people it is so much different from other sports. And that it's even harder for these guys sometimes to focus probably. So it's great to see when a player like Latrell Harris and others around the league can come on the show, talk about the sport that they love. They deserve to be paid. And playoffs are around the corner. I cannot wait for those games tomorrow. And when I come back, we're talking more lacrosse. Why I think one city deserves to win it based on fan base alone. We're right by the Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. Last Brew, presented by B-Res Coffee Company. Code DailyDive at checkout. It's coffee for gamers, by gamers. And, of course, lacrosse and Daily Dive fans. Well, the NLL Finals is coming up. And, of course, we got to get to 2 different playoff rounds to get to that point. But I want to get an opinion on this because when the game 1 is the week of May 26th this season, and actually that's in 22 days? That's game 1 of the NLL Finals. You have to wonder, there's a lot of deserving teams, obviously, deserving players, and I wanted to get to a fan base side of things. You obviously already see the graphic, but to me, Buffalo Bills fans and Buffalo Bandits and Buffalo fans in general are right up there with Seattle in terms of no matter the sport, they show up. You watch any sporting event anywhere, those fans show up. And I feel like the Buffalo Bandits, because of the attendance numbers that they have this season, that we've been reporting on Daily Dive so much, because of the great players that they have, the 2-time, possibly 3-time MVP, Dane Smith, although I'm pretty sure it's going to be Del Bianco now that I look back. He won our MVP. Look at the Hogananico, the young, awesome player. Josh Byrne, who's up next after Dane Smith, but he's best friends with Dane. You look at Matt Vince, 40-year-old goalie, who's locking down the nets. Coach John Tavares, possibly the greatest lacrosse player of all time, at least in box. And then the fans who have had to endure the Bills. You know, the Bills at one point lost, 4 Super Bowls in a row? I don't know if it's a choke job or just a disappointment. Like, Boston fans are out here saying, oh, well, we have the Patriots went 16-0 and then lost in the last game of the Giants. We got the Bruins who lost in the first round after blowing a 3-1 lead. Golden State Warriors, they blew a 3-1 lead. It's like, you look at those things. Like the Clippers have blown leads in the NBA. And nothing compares to what the city of Buffalo has gone through. They've got nothing. And you look at this also came from the Evo Shield and the Dane Smith thing on the NLL YouTube page. I forgot, like Home and Something. It's their latest video on the National Lacrosse League YouTube page. This guy's from Canada, you can tell. But Dane Smith is literally on there saying how much he wants to win this for Buffalo. Comes from Kitchener, Ontario. Is now building a house in Buffalo, according to the video. Like, he sees their hunger. He sees their desire. How much more fun was it watching that lacrosse, watching the NLL game against the Rock and the Bandits in Buffalo. How much more fun was that compared to a place like, I don't know, let's not do Panther City, maybe like the Georgia Swarm, who claim to have 9,000 people every time they play. How much more impressive and more exciting was it to see the Bandits fans cheering on their players? I'm telling you, Buffalo's one of the greatest fan bases. You may not like them. They may talk a lot. I mean, I feel like the Buffalo Bills were the Super Bowl champions the last 2 preseasons in a row. But my point is, Buffalo deserves this NLL Cup. Because as the game is growing, the Bandits fans have been out in full force. They're like I said, head coached by John Tavares. They've got Dane Smith. They've got Josh Byrne, Hogan Nanico, Matt Vince, Chris Kluche, Ian McKay. So many great players. It's like you have the Seals loaded up. Yeah, Thunderbirds can get hot. The Rock have a great defense. Mammoth are the defending champions. But Buffalo, this is their year. And these fans, after what I've seen, are probably the best fans in the NLL. I mean that. If the NLL can throw in Halifax as the 5th best team, I completely disagree. They love to throw in those Canada teams because every game of the week is in Halifax, or it's in Toronto, or it's in Calgary. No, Buffalo has the best NLL fans. And I don't like seeing. I'm a Colts fan, okay? I'm a Miami Heat fan. I don't like saying that Buffalo has the best fans. It's not fun to me. I don't like interacting with their fans sometimes. But in terms of this pure passion and supporting a team that deserves it, Buffalo fans deserve this so very much. Also, cool logo, right? I think he's awesome. Like, shout out to the NLL for getting that thing right. Am I right? But yeah, thanks so much for every guest that's been on this show. Tomorrow we're gonna have Andy Towers back on, the head coach of the Chaos, to talk more about the location-based PLL coming after 2023. Want to get his insight on that as well as the NLL playoffs. And of course, I believe we're working on another guest too. I haven't confirmed that, but it's another NLL player. So hopefully we can get that person on tomorrow. We got, of course, another big week coming up next week. And don't forget about your bracket challenge. You know, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, when the Toronto and Halifax game starts, when Latrell Harris's game starts, then that's it for the brackets. That it's over. So you have to fill it out. Get points for the quarterfinals, get points for the conference finals, and get points for the NLL finals. And if you have not, be sure to fill out the most goals scored in the NLL finals, and of course, the game one score for those tiebreakers. Because I know there's going to be a bunch of similar brackets. There's only 8 playoff teams. Come on now, and like 3 playoff rounds. Come on. But single elimination lacrosse doesn't get much better than that. I mean, can you imagine if so the NBA does this play-in tournaments? Can you imagine if they did a single game elimination, how much higher the stakes would be? Well, look at the NFL. The NFL is so good about the single elimination. College football, college basketball, single elimination combined with 3-game tournaments are incredible. It's incredible formats. That way it's winner take all in the first one, and then after that you get the 3 games. You can't mess this up too much. So I love it so much. I love this league. I love talking about with you guys. Reminder: if you missed our awards, Coach of the Year was Ed Cuomo of the Georgia Swarm for turning that thing around despite falling short at the end. Rookie of the Year was Panther City Jonathan Donville. Goalie of the Year was Christian Del Bianco, the media's darling. I'll shout out to him. And, of course, Dane Smith was our MVP of the season. Should I add a transition player of the year in there? I don't think I know enough about that. I mean, the numbers right here, What's we got? Zach Currier had 33 points. Okay, so I'm going to have to go with Zach Currier. If I don't like, I hate going into Latrell Harris after he was on the show, but I'm going to have to go with Zach Currier as our inaugural Transition Player of the Year. So we'll add that award to the Daily Dot Awards. Again, we're going to be better this next year. But for season 1, we got Dane Smith, Christian DelBianco, Jonathan Donville, Ed Cuomo, and of course, now Zach Currier, who just won our Transition Player of the Year. If there's any more awards we could give out, let me know. Again, these guys will get nothing more, nothing less than a Skittles gift basket. I love Skittles. It'd be great for me, but yeah, no. But who's chasing this baby? Got 8 teams, and again, tomorrow, you don't want to miss it. Rock and Thunderbirds at 7:30 Eastern on TSN and ESPN Plus, and of course, the Seals and the Mammoth at 10 p.m. Eastern in San Diego, of course, on ESPN Plus. The betting odds for those games are already out. The Rock are favored by 1.5. The total is at 22.5 in both the games. And, of course, the Seals are favored by 2.5. That's interesting against the Mammoth. As for the biggest underdog of the week, how about the fact the Mammoth are the biggest underdogs? And the biggest, like the best dogs? Like plus 135? Rochester in Buffalo. I don't know what Vegas knows, but they might know more than I do. They usually do. We're chasing this puppy right here, though. You know what's tasted, right? All right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks again to Latrell Harris, who brought the fire early and often. Those guests make my job easier. Like, this is a job, right? I love doing this anyways. All right, so that's it for me. For every great guest on the show, for you yourself, the fans, for people behind the scenes, and of course, I'm Adam Karvelis. Thanks so much for tuning in to Daily Dive. We're at 40 subscribers on YouTube. 40 subscribers. And we haven't even hit the playoffs yet. Well, we have now, but you get it. So thank you so much with the yellow and blue heart emoji. And I'm going to stop talking now like I normally do. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Tomorrow we'll have 80 Towers and possibly one other guest on the show. If not, we'll reschedule that one. But hey, it's about to be a fun weekend, all right? Or the Canadians say, it's going to be a fun weekend, eh? Sorry. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.